So this is going to be 30 minutes of breath work. So we are going to work with a focus on calming breath work, so that you can bring any of these techniques back into your day if at any point you need to stop, to reset and to down-regulate the nervous system. So these are all going to be things that you can do and bring into any point of your day. So just making sure that you're comfortable. You can do this lying down if you prefer, if that helps you to kind of surrender into the moment. You can come to lie down on your back, on a mat, or maybe on a bed or your sofa, just making sure that your spine is supported. I'm seated. I'm going to stay seated. I'm sitting on a bolster. So if you are seated, also just being mindful that your posture is you're sitting up tall and that your spine is feeling supported again. So it's important with our breath to be able to acknowledge our own breathing patterns. We all have our own pattern of breath, just like our thumbprint. And our breath is constantly adapting and shifting and changing to our environment, both external, so what's happening with other people, if things are triggering us or activating us, and also internal, so maybe our thoughts, that internal chatter, the critic that we all have and that we all listen to. And our breath will be moving and changing as our autonomic nervous system is reacting. So it's all interlinked. But the more that we can acknowledge those patterns when we are feeling stressed or elevated, we can start to change the breath. So that's the beauty of the breath. We breathe autonomically. We breathe around 20,000 breaths per day as an average. But the fact that we can also take control of the breath is a unique quality within us as human beings. So with all of that said, let that just come over the top of your head and settle back into a comfortable place. And when you get there, you can close your eyes. And that just allows us to draw our sense of sight in. And if closing your eyes feels a little bit much, then just lower your gaze. And as you do, just start to bring your awareness into the body. And what do you notice? Maybe you are drawn to how your body feels. Maybe you can explore where feels a little bit tight, or maybe where you're kind of subconsciously holding and gripping through your body. Or maybe there's a little release if you can find it. Letting go of some of those patterns. And maybe your mind is flitting from thought to thought. Maybe you're finding it difficult to be here in this moment. And there's no need to judge what you notice. We don't need to change ourselves or fix ourselves, but just allowing ourselves to land. And when you've checked in with how you are physically feeling and how you are emotionally or mentally feeling, in your own time, can you start to draw your awareness to your breath? And at this point, you might start to try to control the breath. So try not to. Remember, we breathe automatically. So just watching the breath. Are you breathing in and out through your nose? Is the breath coming out through the mouth? How does it feel to breathe in your body today? And where is the movement happening? Maybe it helps to bring the palms to the abdomen or the chest to be able to feel that movement. And maybe the breath feels pretty fluid, maybe it feels quite expansive. On the other hand, it might feel quite tight, it might be shallow, it might feel tricky, sticky. And breath awareness is the start of our breathwork practice. So just being aware, just finding that connection to your breath. And as I said, the breath is very indicative of how we are feeling internally. So if it is feeling fluid and expansive, maybe you are already feeling quite relaxed. But not to worry if it's feeling a little tight, or if you're trying to force the breath, just let it happen. And then we will start to take some conscious control of the breath. So maybe you've still got the hands on the body, feeling the movement through the breath. But can you take that control of the breath and send your inhales down to your abdomen? And sometimes it's nice to bring the hands to the side of the body, to the lowest rib. And if you want to open your eyes and check where that is, you can gaze at me. I've got the thumbs around the back of the body and then the fingers around the front of the ribs. And as we breathe into the belly, those abdominal diaphragmatic breaths, we want the inhale to expand the abdomen. And with the hands on the ribs, maybe you can feel the lowest ribs opening out. And then as you breathe out, everything contracts and softens back in. And can you bring that movement into the back of the body? So we're thinking 360 expansion as you breathe in. Everything opens, allowing room for the diaphragm to move down, that huge muscle. And as you breathe out, everything softens back in as the diaphragm moves back up. So the mechanics of the breath. Breathing in, finding that space and expansion. And as you breathe out, it's just to relax as the body softens back into center. And if there's any breath moving through the mouth, can you close the mouth and just work with the nostrils? Allowing your breath to be as smooth and as light and as quiet as you can. And if you can slow your breath down a little further, getting the breath as deep down into the abdomen as you can. Making sure your jaw's relaxed, your shoulders are relaxed, and the chest is relaxed. So as we breathe low down into the abdomen, we're working with the diaphragm muscle and we're engaging with that relaxation response. When we breathe into the chest and the shoulders, we're more likely to be activating the body, sending signals to be in that flight, fight, and freeze response. So really, really slow and deep. And as you breathe, maybe you find that you start to feel a little sense of air hunger, like you want to breathe a little quicker. And that's completely natural. That's where you want to be with the breath. So just taking a couple more, hands could still be on the rib cage, or maybe one hand on the abdomen, one hand on the back. Feeling that growth and space as you breathe in. And feeling that softening as you breathe out. I'm going to move these slow, steady breaths into a triangle breath. So we'll breathe in, and then we'll breathe out, and we'll hold the breath at the bottom, relax, and then we'll take the breath back. So I'll count with you. If at any point you need to come back to center, come back to your natural breath. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4, breathe in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, hold the breath, soften the shoulders. And back in. 2, 3, 4, breathe out, let everything soften. And hold the breath there. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulders. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath there. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. Find that expansion and space into the abdomen. Breathe out. Everything softens. Stay soft there as you hold the breath. And breathing back in, finding that space low into the belly. Breathing out, relaxing, contracting, and pausing there at the bottom, relaxing into the hold. Breathing in again, finding that space, and breathing out. Pausing there, relaxing into the hold, and breathing back in, filling up with the air. Exhale to let it go, soft and gentle, and pausing at the bottom. Relax into the pause. We'll take one more triangle, breathing in, fully into the belly. Breathing out, just passively letting the breath go. Relaxing at the bottom, shoulders, jaw relax. Good. And then coming back to natural breath, your natural flow. Breathing in and out through the nose. No need to control it or count it. And can you come back to that breath awareness, just being with the breath, being the observer, being the witness. And if you notice that you've kind of slumped in your posture, if you're seated, then just finding that lift through the spine, rolling the shoulders back. Maybe there's a little bit of movement. And if you're lying down, maybe a stretch of the arms wide to relax the shoulders down. Coming back into the body, back into the space. So we're going to work a little bit further into that hold, and we're going to create a square now instead of a triangle, often known as box breathing. And again, this can be really focusing because we're working with counting the breath, and we're also working with adding a pause at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. So we're going to take it for 4. And again, if that air hunger becomes a little bit too much, or you find that you are gripping into the body, you can slow it down, you can come back to your natural breath. So the pause can create a little bit of air hunger because it's your natural carbon dioxide levels rising in the body, which is an indicator to the body to breathe in. So just remembering that your body has enough oxygen and seeing if you can slow the breath and calm your mind with the breath. So if it helps for you to have a visualization for this box, you can work with the 4 corners of your torso. So right shoulder, right hip and left hip. And we can move across in a circle if that just helps you to stay grounded with the breath. If not, just count with the breath. So I'm going to count with you. We'll come to rest at the right shoulder. And take a breath in where you are, in through the nose, belly expands. And out through the nose, belly softens. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, left shoulder, and pause down to the left hip. Breathe out from left hip to right hip. And pause as you travel back up to right shoulder. Breathe in across the chest to left shoulder. Hold the breath as you travel down to left hip. Exhale, left hip to right hip. And hold the breath back up to right shoulder. Breathe in, across to the left shoulder. Hold the breath, soften down to left hip. Breathe out, across the pelvis to right hip. And pause the breath as you travel back up to right shoulder. Breathing in. Hold the breath. Breathing out. Hold the breath. Breathing in across the chest to left shoulder. Hold the breath down to the left hip. Breathe out, let it go across to the right hip. And pause the breath back up to right shoulder. A couple more squares. Inhale, across to left shoulder. Hold the breath and soften into it down to the left hip. Exhale, effortlessly let the breath go. And hold the breath there, traveling back up to right shoulder. Breathing in across the top of the square. Hold the breath down to the left hip. Breathe out across the bottom of the square. And hold the breath back up to right shoulder. Last square, breathing in across to the left. Hold the breath, relax into it. Breathing out, let it go, nice and controlled. And pause the breath there as you travel back up to right shoulder. And softening in, breathing in. And breathing out. And fluttering the eyes back open. Coming back to your natural breath. Again, maybe you bring your awareness back to the natural breath. Maybe there's a little bit of movement through the body if you need to. Find your seat again. Or take a stretch if you're lying down. No need to judge or criticize if either of those breath works didn't feel right for you. Take a moment just to come back to the breath. If your thoughts are wandering off, just bring it back. So your breath works as a really great anchor tool to bring us back into the body. So if you find that you were gripping through those pauses, just let your shoulders relax, let the jaw relax, maybe even bringing the hands to the jaw and taking a couple little circles with the fingertips up through your jawline and down to where it meets the corners of your mouth. And then we'll settle back in for our last breathwork technique. So just a little bit about your inhales and your exhales. When we breathe in, the heart rate elevates, which is completely natural and normal. And that activates our fight, flight, freeze response, which is the sympathetic branch of the nervous system. And when we exhale, the heart rate decreases, which is stimulating the parasympathetic branch, which is the rest and digest. So there's this constant fluctuation of activation and deactivation. But with that knowledge that the exhale is the calming breath, we can utilize that in our breathwork techniques. So I thought that we could go through some extended exhale breathing where we keep the inhale the same length, and with every 2 breaths we will extend our exhale breath, and hopefully we can get to a double length exhale to the inhale, which is going to be really calming for the body and calming for the mind. But again, if the longer breaths start to add any air hunger, you can either slow it down, come back a count, or you can come back to your natural breath. So come back to your seat, sitting up tall, rolling the shoulders back, or if you're lying down, make sure that you are comfortable. And you can close your eyes again, so just coming back inwards, just coming away from the external stimulus, and calming the mind back down and bringing it back to center. Back to this moment, back to the inhales and the exhales. And all you have to do is stay with the breath. So just being again with the inhales and the exhales. Your inhale creates space and expansion. And your exhale is a passive release. Allowing the breath to fill into the abdomen, the ribs, the back of the body. And allowing everything to relax and contract back on the exhale. And breathing in for 4, 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. Breathing in. And breathing out. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale. Deep into the belly. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Continue breathing in for 4 and breathing out for 8. Finding that control. Your inhale creates the space. Breathing in for 4. Exhale lets everything go slowly and controlled. Stay with the breath. Breathing in for 4. And letting it go effortlessly. Soft shoulders, soft jaw. The inhale fills into the belly. No need to move the chest. The exhale, a slow, steady release. And stay with the count. Inhaling for 4. Drawing it down into the belly. And breathing out for 8. Belly softens. Everything relaxes. Taking 3 more rounds, breathing in for 4. And allowing the exhale to be double the length to 8. Stay counting with your breath, relaxing into it. Slow and deep, controlled and relaxed. Taking your last round. And then coming back to your natural breath. Still low and slow into the abdomen. And we'll take a full deep breath down into the abdomen. Let it rise all the way up to the top. And as you exhale, let it go through the mouth. Breathing in, slow and deep, controlled into the abdomen. Let it rise all the way to the top and spill through the mouth. One more time, breathing in, a full deep breath and letting it go, spilling through the mouth. And bringing in some movement, wiggling into fingers, scrunching through the face. Maybe there's a stretch or a yawn. And if your eyes are still closed, you can slowly flutter the eyes back open. And coming back into the space. And sometimes it helps to ground back into your space by gazing around yourself and finding 3 things in your space that you can name. Maybe touching onto the knees or the legs or even onto the ground beneath you. So just finding your roots. And when you've come back into your space, taking your time to note the benefits of your breath. And if you need to journal or write anything down from your experience, please feel free. And you can bring any of these techniques into your day or your week whenever you feel you need to ground and connect. Thank you.